What's up, everyone? Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night. I'd say per the always, but we weren't here last Tuesday. But we are back this Tuesday. I'm Graham Powell on this screen. That's Bradley Sweatmaster Brown on the other. Say what's popping, Bradley.
It's happening. And yes, I am sweating, if you can't tell.
Yeah, I can see it glistening off because you kind of have a freshly shaved head, so I can see it even better. Um, Mine's not freshly shaved, but it is oily up top, so I'm also glistening a little bit on this screen. But that's just me being a gross human. All right, before we get going, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor. I'm sure y'all wanted to hear a lot more about that, but we're gonna get going. Yeah, quick shout out to our sponsor. Shoe Booty Sports is presented by Rhino Races. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers five different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the one of a kind Rhino Ultra. You can sign up for one or all five of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track it with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results as proof of completion. Submit that screenshot to rhinoraces.com under the submit results section. Once your results are verified by Rhino Races staff, your reward will be shipped to you by mail. Also, check out their gear section while you're there for t-shirts, wristbands, decals, and more. That's rhinoraces.com. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series, and you can find us, Shoe Booty Sports, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on X at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, for those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, Bradley over there was drinking water, and I was wondering if he was going to make it through the entire
Thought about
sponsorship.
it. But then I realized I was already like 17 ounces in. And I was like, I don't need to do 32 ounces while he's running the sponsor. So
Well, you would have to pee probably in 20 minutes tops. So there'd
if
be
I
that.
keep sweating like I am, I probably won't.
That's true. So tell us about so you've been working out pretty consistently for how long now?
5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay. How do you feel now compared to when you started?
Feel a lot better. Uh, I think I have more energy, but then I go and waste it in the gym. So there's been days I've been really sore, but I think those days are behind me for the most part. I felt pretty good the last week. So yeah, not as
So
old as I not as old as I once felt. So
okay. So what are you doing? What's a typical workout week for you, and what's the end goal?
uh not really sure what the end goal is other than just to be in shape and feel better about myself. Usually I try to do upper body 3 days a week and lower body 2 days a week.
So like 5 days in the gym?
Yeah. So, well, this week is the first week I'll be doing 5 days. I've been doing 4 days consistently. But I usually work out for 45 minutes to an hour. On leg day, I usually work out for about an hour and 15 minutes, and then I go sit in the sauna for 20 to 30 minutes.
Okay. All right then. What's your cardio routine like?
Non existent at this moment.
All right, I
So
was going to ask about
it's
that.
it's usually it's hopefully it's gonna replace one of my upper body days on like midweek. So maybe tomorrow I might try it, but it's probably just gonna consist of a lot of jump rope and some jogging. I don't know, I do about 10 minutes on the stair climb on leg day.
Can you
So
describe the stair climb to me again with your hands?
stair climb.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Yeah.
That's not how I typically do the stairs. I do them with my feet usually.
Well, they're coming down and yeah, yeah. So I usually get in like 40 floors, 40 to 50 floors. And yeah, by that time I'm sweating really good. So
I like the stair climber. I'm a fan of it. I just run these days. I rarely lift weights anymore just because of time and don't want to, and I just do running stuff. So I run races regularly, so that's the only thing I really focus on. Would it be better if I lifted some? Sure, of course it would, but I don't. So it's what it is. Um, when you had signed up for this is turning into a Brad interview about his fitness life, and that's okay. We've got time to talk about other things. But what you had signed up or originally to run a half marathon. It was supposed to be the Run Pig Sooie half
Yeah.
marathon. You and I were both supposed to do it the weekend before last, and then they
Yeah.
canceled. Probably it was a few weeks into them announcing this race where they said, we just can't get permits and we're going to have to put it off a year. And so you had signed up for a half. Is there
Yeah.
an is there a half or potential full in your future?
There's definitely a half. I'm still not sure about a full. But yeah, we'll see how the half goes. So
When
I'm
is
sure at
the half?
some point I'll be peer pressured by somebody into doing a full one.
Probably. I know a couple people that can help with that. What half do you have in mind and when?
No idea what half I have in mind, but I would like to do it sometime in the fall. Don't really want to do it in the dead of summer. I don't even know if they do them in the summertime.
Not around
But
here.
yeah, I would like to do it when it's like 75 degrees outside. So we'll see.
Now, like an organized, like an organized race, like a kind of a bigger one, they're definitely not going to do it in the summer around our area. But they do have
And
this traveling series that does it throughout the year. But I would. So, would you possibly consider the Hog Eye, which is April 11th?
no,
Why? It would
less
be
than
fantastic
less than a
content.
month from now.
Yeah,
I
why not?
don't
It's
know.
a half, dude. Anybody can do a half. And you'll come in before me. I'm pacing the 5 hour marathon group. My brother Ben is pacing the 4:45 group. You'll get to see us eventually if you hang out. So I would consider it. It's a good. My first marathon was the Hog Eye. It's only fitting that your first half should be the Hog Eye.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to think about it. So
Well, you've got a month to think about it. I say you should go for it and just like who cares about prep for especially for a half. You don't have to be it helps to be prepped, but you don't have to be that prep for a half. You just got to finish. That's all that matters. Just finish. And you can walk as needed, whatever you want to do. I say go for it, just dive right in. There's no I need to take all this time to train for it, etc. I got to get my diet right. I want to be in the gym for a while. For like, no, dive in, just dive in with your feet, and then you can dive in and just start running as soon as your feet hit the pavement.
mm,
But I say Brad should do the half, and I think everybody should peer pressure him a little bit into doing it because I think he'd enjoy it. Maybe at least after. Anyway, okay, enough about that. Unless Brad wants to continue to talk about it, we have a few sports things going on. I don't what was the big one? Oh, the Arkansas Razorbacks won the SEC tournament, their second ever SEC tournament championship.
and
We both
got promptly
called
rewarded with going to Portland.
yes, going to Portland and not getting the greatest draw from what I could tell. I thought Missouri had a better draw.
Missouri gets to stay in their own state.
Yeah. Do you have a bracket pulled up? That's what I meant to do. I was going to get a bracket from work today and print it out, and then we were going to do a bracket, a pick 'em. So we might
I
have
can
to
get one pulled
do.
up real quick.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, and
But
Vandy, they get Oklahoma City draw and they lost to us. Why the hell do they only have to go to Oklahoma City and Arkansas has to travel 2,300 freaking miles? Like,
go to Portland, and then you potentially have to see
and,
Arizona in the third round. It's like,
and
wow.
yeah,
Now you're
yeah.
gonna have to play them. You're gonna have to play them at
Portland
some
itself
point
is kind of
anyway.
trash. Like outside the city is pretty nice, but the city is terrible.
That's what I
So
hear. I've never been to Portland.
I've been.
Uh,
It's dirty. It
go,
is dirty.
going back to the running thing, I did decide recently I want to run a marathon in all 50 states. So I'll see Oregon eventually. I don't know if it'll be the Portland area. I'll probably try to find another one somewhere else within the state. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because that's going to take a little while for me to do. But I am going to cross off state number 3 next month in Missouri. So I did sign up for something at the end of April to do that in a race outside of Springfield. So that should be. There's one you could do. There's a half there, and it's super flat and straight. So I'm giving you gold here, man. I'm giving
Yeah.
you options. But anyway, everybody feel free to peer pressure Brad into doing one of those. Hog Eye's local for you, so that would make more sense, I think. But the one in Willard, Missouri that I'm doing is super flat and straight. So that could be a good time too. I don't know. And it won't be hot or too cold, hopefully. Okay, so the Hogs, SEC Tournament champions, their second ever. Darius Acuff Jr., 30 points, 11 assists in the final against Vanderbilt. It was a really good it's a really good showing by the Hogs. They tried to give it away in the semifinals. They did their best to give it away to Ole Miss in the semifinals, going to overtime against the
Yeah.
Rebels, but getting it done in the end. In every game, minus the end of regulation against Ole Miss, Arkansas did eventually separate themselves. It felt close in every game, but the Hogs would eventually separate themselves. They did that against Vanderbilt. Trevin Brazil was a monster at the end of the SEC championship game. Hit 2 big threes that helped seal it for the Hogs. Got 2 crucial blocks, a steal and a dunk down the stretch. He was an absolute madman of a beast at the end of the SEC tournament. I've never seen the Hogs win an SEC tournament championship. They did it in 2000. I wasn't really watching basketball then. We were, what, in ninth grade, I believe? Yeah, we were in ninth grade. It was the spring semester of that year, and I just wasn't into basketball really, at least as far as watching it. I was playing it. I was burned out from playing it, and I kind of wanted to be done with the sport by the time I got home. So I wasn't watching it really on TV or anything. Jordan had just retired.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of incentive for me to want to watch basketball back then. So I didn't watch a lot of the Razorbacks. So to see the Hogs get it done, win an SEC tournament championship was really cool and fun to see because they've gotten close several times, but just couldn't get it done in the championship game. They did in this one though, in Coach Cal's second year. Now, when Coach Cal got hired, you and I had originally just put out what we had thought would be a successful run for Cal before he retired. Because I think it's fair to say this is most likely his last stop before hanging it up and calling it a career. And I think we had said something along the lines of, yeah, national championship would be great, but what would be considered a successful run? I think we said 1 or 2 conference championships, including the SEC tournament championship. He
Yeah.
checked off one of the checked that off in year 2, in year 2 under Coach Cal in SEC tournament championship. To this point, now we still got the tournament, but to this point, how would you grade Cal's job that he's done at the U of A? At
Man, you got to give him a solid A, right? To A
least
minus. So
I'd say an A. I'd say an A. It's a solid A. It's hard to do much better than he's done. He inherited no team when he got here. I said
one
last week,
person.
yeah, Eric Musselman left that cupboard as bare as can be. Trevin Brazil was going to go pro. He was going to go pro, and he had not had a good run at Arkansas to that point, just because Muss didn't know what to do with him, and it just wasn't good for anybody. It wasn't good for Brazil. It wasn't good for the Hogs. Uh, Muss did not know what to do with Trevin Brazil. Cal got there, talked Brazil into coming back, and has made him just an absolute monster. He made him the player. He guided because Brazil did it, but Cal helped shape and coach Trevin Brazil into the player we all thought he could be when we
Yeah.
first saw him at the U of A. And that's been really fun to see him blossom as a player and become the player that we thought he could be. So I love that for Trevin Brazil. Yeah, I would say a solid A. The only thing I haven't liked about this run, of course, it was the bad start last year, but they did recover from it and recovered at Kentucky. Like that's where it started. The turnaround started at Rupp Arena in Cal's first return back to or first game in Rupp Arena since being on the other side of the bench. Right. That's
Mhm.
where it turned around, and they haven't looked back. They lost a heartbreaker to Texas Tech in the round of 16 in the last tournament. It's a better team this year. Let's go over the bracket. Let's go ahead and make picks because why not? And
Yes.
then we'll talk
Funny
more about
thing,
it.
you mentioned Muss in the bracket. I don't see USC anywhere on this thing. So,
Yeah, I didn't either.
so yeah. So you want me to pull up the bracket?
Yeah, let's run through it. Let's do a bracket for
See
just
if
because
I
it's fun to do a
remember.
bracket.
See if I can remember how to do this now.
Now, have you filled out our bracket for our fantasy football league?
I have not. That's on my to-do list tonight. So
Okay,
kind of been
I did.
preoccupied with throwing out my resume to in any company. So
Okay, I did mine last night. I've done three brackets. Now, we have in our department at work, we're all doing a bracket. I had one for our department. The CT department said they're doing brackets, and they wanted me and my coworker to do a bracket for theirs too. So I did a bracket for theirs, and I switched it up a little bit. I did a bracket for our fantasy football league, which determines the number one pick in our fantasy football league. And so I did one for that. And today, I even just out of boredom early this morning decided to do. Me and my coworker said, "Hey, let's just plug a bracket into Chat GPT and see what it comes up with." And so Chat GPT, we put Chat GPT's bracket up on the board with everybody else too. That was kind of that was kind of fun.
who did it pick?
It had Houston. Okay, the big surprise. Well, I think it had Duke, Arizona, Houston. That's the Final Four, and Tennessee. It had Tennessee coming out of the other bracket, and it had Houston beating Arizona in the final. So not crazy. I mean, Tennessee would be a shocker, but crazier stuff has
Yeah.
happened. So that's what Chat GPT had. So this will be our bracket. So this will be like technically my fourth bracket. I was counting Chat GPT as mine, but Chat GPT made all the picks for that. Okay, this will be my fourth bracket. I get what first?
First, yeah.
All right, well, let's run through it.
All right, can you see the screen? Did I share it appropriately?
You did. I can see things.
Okay.
For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube, I had stuff popping up, allow whatever, and I just clicked OK. I assumed you knew what you were doing. All right. So first round of the East, Duke Siena 1 versus 16. Duke the number one overall seed. No surprise there. Of course, we have Duke there. Ohio State TCU. In all my brackets, I have picked the same team coming out of this one. Who do you have?
Probably gonna go TCU. I have a habit of picking nines over eights.
I do too because it makes sense, but I also picked TCU because they play in the Big 12, not a strong football conference anymore, still a really good basketball conference. So to be a 9 seed coming out of that conference, pretty good. When you've got Arizona, Houston, Kansas, you come out of that bracket, or Iowa State, that's a really strong basketball conference. So we both got TCU there. There's every year a 12 beats a 5. 12C beats a 5. We got St. John's, Northern Iowa. I could see it happening, but
I don't think this one's it though.
I don't either. I've had St. John's in every bracket. Kansas against Cal Baptist. Kansas, right?
Yeah, not a whole lot of 13s beat fours, right? It
It
has happened.
happens. It does happen, but it's not routine like a 5 and a 12. Okay, Louisville, South Florida. I did catch some of South Florida's game against Wichita State in their conference championship, just because it was on after the SEC Tournament championship. I wasn't paying real close attention, but I did see a familiar face out there. Joseph Pinion. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a starter for South Florida now. So Joseph Pinion is going to get to play in the NCAA tournament as a starter. So I mean, good on him. I think Louisville is the better team. I mean, a 6/11, but I mean, who knows what can happen? I still like Louisville though. I did pick South
Uh,
Florida in one bracket, but I like Louisville here.
I've not seen either team play, but yeah, I would roll with Louisville over South Florida.
So you didn't see when Arkansas beat Louisville?
I don't know, man. I've slept a lot since then.
I was
I
going to
don't
say
remember.
you didn't watch that game because
I'm sure I did, but
We handed Louisville its first loss of the season. We being Arkansas. Okay, so I mean Louisville is a good team. We jumped up on them early. Louisville made a run, tried to make it close because they were a top 10 team at the time, and Arkansas held them off. So I like Louisville there. Michigan State, North Dakota State. We've seen Michigan State play. They handed Arkansas its first loss of the season at the start of the season. I like Michigan State here. I assume you do too. Okay. I'll let you talk about these next two.
well, I'm not gonna have much to say. We have UCLA versus Central Florida. 10 seeds do beat 7 seeds sometimes. Uh, I would probably pick UCF. I don't know. Like again, I haven't seen either one of these teams play.
Over
It's,
UCLA.
it's just one of those gut feelings.
Let's do it. I picked UCF in one of them. Yeah, if I were betting money, I'd go UCLA, but it's a bracket. It's fun. Let's go UCF. Sure, why not?
Not gonna think too much about this next one, UConn versus Furman. We'll just go with UConn on that one. So, do we want to finish out this just this side of the bracket and move on to the next, or what? Or you just want to
But
go down the list?
I like the idea of just going round by round.
Okay, all right, we'll go down here to the South bracket, and we won't put too much thought effort into this one. We'll just go ahead and pick Florida over the play-in game of, I'm guessing Lehigh and what's PV?
Prairie View, maybe, I think. Now, do these games start tonight?
I believe the playing games start on Tuesday, yeah, and play through Wednesday. So
Yeah. So tonight is when it starts. Uh, I'm not going to turn that game on because I'm going to watch the World Baseball Classic final, the
me too.
United States and Venezuela. That starts at 7 o'clock. Okay, let's move on. Clemson, Iowa. Clemson, ACC, pretty good team for the ACC. Of course, Iowa, a Big Ten team that has 20 teams or whatever they have now. I pick
Yeah.
Clemson in every bracket. What do you think?
I don't know. Something about that Paul print, I got to pick it. I don't know. I usually go 9/8s, but half the time I'm wrong. So I don't have a problem with going Clemson. So then we move down to Vandy versus McNeese.
Another 5-12 matchup.
Yeah.
McNeese has had a really good season.
What's their record? 28-5. Yeah.
Yeah. I still like Vanderbilt, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Seems like everybody likes Vanderbilt. So
they're
I
playing
don't know.
well.
We'll give them some SEC love. Yeah,
Yeah,
they beat
it's
Florida. I mean, anything's possible.
beat the brakes off of Florida.
What,
Get
17
handed
points?
them, yeah, handed the Gators their first loss in like 2 months.
So
it's no bad thing to lose to Arkansas.
is it true that Nebraska has not won a tournament game?
Oh, I don't know about that. I, I haven't heard that. But I don't know.
Nebraska,
Could be.
Nebraska versus Troy. We'll just yeah, have a hard time picking Troy in that one. I don't know. I go with Nebraska.
Well, I will too, but it could happen.
It
Anything
could
could happen.
happen. Yep.
All right, North Carolina VCU in one bracket. I had VCU beating North Carolina. I don't see it happening. I would say UNC here.
It would be funny.
It'd be hilarious, and we're gonna get those. We're gonna have those.
Yep.
Hopefully, Arkansas just isn't the one because then it wouldn't be hilarious, not to us.
Yeah. They're getting a lot of love, which makes it scary. So
Yeah, they
it,
some analysts had, or one analyst in particular, not some, but one went on ESPN and picked Arkansas to beat Duke in the final in the national championship game.
I couldn't imagine.
Like I'm thinking surely not, but I would love to see it.
Would love to see it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Illinois Penn, it's Illinois, right? We don't have to think
yeah.
too hard on that one. I like
They've got
Illinois
another
there.
phenom freshman on their squad. So
Okay,
A&M and
A&M.
St.
Go ahead.
Mary's. I don't, man. I had a feeling A&M was going to be the one to give it up in the SEC tournament.
You called
Some
that.
about them. I mean, I just can't pick them. Just can't pick them. So I'm going to roll with St. Mary's.
I'm okay with that. A&M had a really good start to the season, but they also didn't play anybody. Like in the SEC, in SEC play, they had the easiest schedule. That's why they were at the top of the standings for as long as they were in the um, first part of the spring. Just because they didn't really the conference schedule was not very tough early, but once they started playing the big dogs, you started to see what they were, and not as good as we thought or people thought. Because I kept saying, I think most people did, well, we haven't seen them play anybody yet, so we'll wait and see. I'm fine with the St. Mary pick. Houston, Idaho, Houston.
Yeah. I'm going to put a whole lot of effort into that one.
Me
Same
too.
thing with Arizona and Long Island. Congratulations, Long Island. You made it to the tournament. Too bad you play Arizona.
I can't. Yeah, unfortunately, I have to play Arizona. Villanova, Utah State. Utah State is in the tournament every year.
Yeah.
Villanova is not what they were under Jay Wright. Of course, they're not. But
Yeah.
I like
Been
Utah
hearing
State here.
nothing. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with Utah State.
Okay,
All
High
right, then we got,
Point, Wisconsin.
I mean, I would love for High Point to upset Wisconsin. Just because if as long as Arkansas gets past Hawaii, I'd much rather them play High Point than Wisconsin because Wisconsin has a talented backcourt. But kind of
And
have
so
to
does
go with
Arkansas.
Wisconsin. Yes, I
I
know
think High Point could beat Wisconsin. Look
they
at the
could.
records. Let's pull up the records.
They could. I believe. The women's High Point team is in the women's NCAA tournament, and I think they may be favored. So 30-4 versus 24-10. Um, they don't have their average scores on here.
No, we don't have to spend too much time on it because we do have to go through the rest of the
Yeah.
bracket. But I'm fine with Wisconsin. But we haven't picked a 12 over a 1 yet.
I think this one might be it, but
So if you want to go High Point, go High Point.
I'll go High Point.
All right. Arkansas, Hawaii. Arkansas is the better team. I like Arkansas.
Yeah, I seen where Hawaii was being smart and they're like, oh, we have to travel a long ways too. You have to travel a long ways for everything. You're Hawaii. You're out in the middle of the ocean.
Yes.
Crimea River.
Well, even then, you got to go to Portland. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
BYU and Texas, North Carolina State. BYU does have a first team All American. I picked Texas in a bracket. Texas has to play North Carolina State in a play in. Uh, who do you like there? I'll let you pick that one.
Texas can play good ball if they do get past NCSU, whoever you said they were.
North
North
Carolina
Carolina
State.
State. Yeah. So if they get past North Carolina State, BYU, I don't know. I kind of want to pick 11 over 6. Texas could be the one to do it. They can play good ball. They're capable. Um, But I don't know. I just have to pick BYU.
All right, we're gonna have to significantly speed it up. So let's
Yeah.
just go through and make picks till we get to the bigger ones. So I'll let you pick that one. All right, BYU, Gonzaga, Kennesaw State. We like Gonzaga, right?
Yeah. Miami,
Miami.
Missouri.
I like Missouri here.
I do too,
All right, let's go
surprisingly.
Missouri. Purdue and Queens. I like Purdue. All right,
Even
moving
though
on.
Purdue has lost in that spot before. So if Purdue gets upset again, we need to just stop calling them upset since they seem to always lose in the big time.
Yeah.
So we'll roll with Michigan on that one. Georgia over St. Louis. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I would
Here's the
pick
12.
Georgia.
Here's the 12-5. I like Akron because JT there's no JT Toppin. So
Yeah,
that can
I
be our
agree with
12.
that one. Akron's getting a lot of love.
All
And
right.
like you said, Texas Tech struggling with injuries. Alabama and Hofstra, you got to go with Alabama. Surely they're not going to, you know, shit the bed twice like they did against Ole Miss. But
Or even though they had a player get arrested and a starter get arrested and isn't going to
forgot
play,
about that. We don't even know if he's going to be able to play, right?
he's
So,
not. I've surely not. But I still think they can beat Hofstra.
yeah.
All right,
We'll go
let's
ahead and
go
pick Tennessee, Virginia
over Wright
over
State.
Wright State.
Kentucky, Santa Clara. What do you think?
I mean, I do hate Kentucky. Um, but I would pick them in this one.
All right, let's go Kentucky and let's go Iowa State. And then let's move on to the second round. We only have 5.5 minutes to get through this, so let's kind of reel through this. I like Duke over TCU. I like St. John's over Kansas. What do you think?
I'd say St. John's over Kansas.
Okay. Louisville,
We'll go.
Michigan State. I like Michigan State. I
There's
like
usually where
UConn.
Michigan State falls out, but yeah, we'll go ahead and put in Michigan State.
I
We'll
like,
go ahead and put UConn over UCF.
okay. Florida over
Florida over
Clemson.
Clemson. Wow, man, we'll say I don't know. Gut reaction: Vandy over Nebraska.
Same.
Illinois over North Carolina.
You know what? Yeah, I like Illinois better. Let's stick with Illinois. And then I'll go Houston over St. Mary's. All right.
Yeah. Let's start here at the bottom. Kentucky, Iowa State.
I like Iowa State.
Yeah.
I like
Virginia and
Virginia.
Tennessee.
I
Yeah,
like Virginia
Virginia.
over Tennessee.
Surely
Uh,
Alabama gets it done against Akron.
you would think. Um, yeah, let's go with that. Michigan
Number
over
one, Michigan's
Georgia.
got to go. Yeah. Mizzou and Purdue.
I like
Uh,
Missouri.
yeah. Purdue, they usually don't get to, Sweet 16. So,
They're usually out by usually the Sweet 16 is where they get to, and then they fall apart. Yeah, let's go. I like Missouri. I like Gonzaga over BYU. Yeah, I do. I like Arkansas over High Point, and I like Arizona against whoever. All
all
right,
right, we'll go with Duke and St. John's. Just go ahead and chalk it up to Duke.
got the Dukies.
Michigan State and UConn, man. I don't know. I like UConn, their coaching. Uh, and they kick people in the nuts a lot less than Michigan State.
Okay, I like.
So,
All right, UConn there. Uh,
Florida, oh, dang.
Florida gets their revenge over Vanderbilt.
Yeah, they're not going to be them twice in a season. So,
No,
Illinois
and
over
not like that.
Houston.
I like
Wow.
Houston.
Yeah. Okay, Virginia over Iowa State, or Iowa State over Virginia.
I like Iowa State coming out of that Big 12, but it could go either way. It's almost a pick 'em, but I like Iowa State. And
Then,
I like Michigan over Alabama. Alabama, you're not going to have a starter, and Michigan is a team that could legitimately win the tournament. Gonzaga, Missouri, and this is why I like Missouri's spot in or their draw in the tournament. I like Missouri over Gonzaga.
Gonzaga's not what they were whenever we were growing up, and
I
it's
don't
hard to
know.
get over. But
I mean, they're still. What do you mean? Like they're as good as they've ever been, or they're as good as they've always been. I think, but
I
I
think they've
like
dropped
Missouri
off.
here.
Okay, we'll
All
go with
right,
Missouri.
I like Missouri. Okay, Arkansas, Arizona. We got 2 minutes, so we got to reel through this. I like
I know.
Arizona
Yeah.
if I were betting money.
Yeah, if I was betting money, I'd go with Arizona. So, which is crazy to think Missouri makes it deeper than Arkansas, but whatever.
That's how the draw ended up, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Then they get booted by Arizona.
Yep,
Duke and UConn.
I like
Ah,
Duke.
man, that's going to be a good game.
I like
We'll go
Duke
with Duke.
though.
All right.
Okay,
And Florida and
I like
Houston.
I like Houston, but
Okay.
it could be Florida.
We'll go with Houston. We've done a lot of chalk on these picks. And Michigan. I'll
Yeah,
roll with Michigan. So, all right, Final Four: Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Houston. Uh, I
so
don't know.
three one seeds, 1-2 seed being Houston. I like
I go with Arizona just because Arizona over Michigan, just because I don't want to see Portnoy just bragging online. Um,
I got Duke.
you got Duke. Okay.
Okay, here's the
All
thing.
right.
Duke is the best team in the tournament, but if anybody can beat them, it's Arizona. For whatever reason, I just don't see Duke winning it. Even
I
I
don't
like
either.
Arizona. I like Arizona in this game.
Well, there you have it.
All right,
Duke and
total
Arizona.
points. Total points will go what? 129. Number off the top of my head.
I don't know. I'd say at least 135, but
Okay, well
we'll
then Brad
split it in the
says one.
middle.
Okay, 132. All right, well, we've got Arizona winning it all. We're going to go watch the World Baseball Classic. USA taking on Venezuela starts in about 45 minutes. Go USA. We'll talk about that next week. March Madness and then some. But until then, I'm Grandpal.
Brown.
Deuces, y'all.
Peace.